So my name is Zoe Clark. I'm Senior Self-Management Programme Officer here at NASS. And tonight I'm joined by Lara Wiseman, who's a familiar face to many of you. So Lara is a pain management mindset mentor and life coach. Hi Lara, how are you?
Hi, I'm not too bad, thank you. Thank you for having me this evening.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us and for leading this session. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
I can see we've got a few people joining us. Hi Levant, welcome. Thanks for joining. And I hope I pronounced your name correctly there. So yeah, do let us know if you have any questions. You can pop them in the comments and we'll have time at the end for a few questions. But tonight is a session which Lara's leading a breathing exercise masterclass. So she'll be guiding you through a few exercises. If you haven't done these types of exercises before, or if you're not sure if they're suitable for them, the video does stay on our page afterwards and we upload it to our YouTube page. So you're welcome to sit back and relax and observe this evening. And then you can always check with your healthcare professional to make sure it's suitable for you before you try them yourself. Or you can also come back and do the video in your own time, where you can pause the video between the exercises and practice them for as long as you'd like. So I can see we've got a few people joining us. What I'll do is I'll hand over to you now, Lara, and then I'll pop back afterwards for any questions.
Okay, lovely. Thanks, Zoe. So thank you very much for taking some time out of your day today to join me for this masterclass of breathing exercises. As Zoe said, my name is Lara and I'm a life coach and pain management mentor, and I've also got Ankylosing spondylitis. I just feel like I should explain at the beginning that I've actually had surgery last week and I'm still in the aftermath of recovering, and I've got a bit of brain fog this evening, so I'm going to be using notes, so I do apologise for that. So basically, you may recognise me, as Zoe says, from previous Facebook Lives. I'm 48, I live in Essex, and I've lived with AS for over 30 years. My symptoms started when I was 14, and like many of you, the journey to diagnosis was extremely long and painful, both physically and mentally. Along with the physical pain came a battle with anxiety and depression and fatigue, and that all led to that feeling of loneliness and not being understood. And I felt like I was losing control of my life, and sometimes that is how AS can make us feel. And I ended up suffering with panic attacks, and over time I became agoraphobic. Now, if you'd like to know more about the details of my journey and why I do what I do, please feel free to take a look at my website, and Zoe is going to add a link to that website in the comments below for you. So, as I've just said, I'm now a life coach and pain management mindset mentor, and I support people living with chronic pain conditions. I teach you how to master your mind so that you can master your pain and in turn master your life. You learn how to break old habits that are held by your unconscious mind, put there by past experiences and fears that we have for the future. And this actually all starts with the breath. So this ties in nicely with this evening. And the breath allows us to connect our mind and our body. And a major symptom that I've often suffered with is costochondritis. You may have also suffered with that, or may even be suffering with it now. I currently have it today. Now, after my surgery, it's caused an AS flare. And I didn't want to postpone this session because of that, because I thought it was a really good opportunity to show you guys that despite having discomfort, it's still possible to use self-management tools to help you get through your days. So rather than just running tonight's workshop, I'm actually going to be benefiting from it too. So that's really good. And I've been using some of these breaths today before we started. So I'm just going to take a drink. Hold on a moment, sorry. So before we begin, I'm just going to give you a little bit of health advice. So breath work is safe and it's a gentle practice. However, because the breath is being changed, it's important that you're aware of some of the contraindications that could be involved, okay? So if you have medical conditions such as glaucoma or high blood pressure, you should avoid breathing practices that cause any increased pressure in the head due to breath holds. So if you're in any doubt, please don't join in this practice today. You can consult your GP or medical professional to decide if breathwork is suitable for you. And as Zoe's already said, you can always return to the video and practice at another time. If you do join in today and during the practice you feel lightheaded, dizzy or faint, please return your breathing to your normal rhythm and pace. And if you need to, you can cup your hands over your nose and mouth and breathe into your hands like this. And this will allow you to regulate your oxygen and carbon dioxide levels. Now, this session is for information purposes only, okay? It's not medical advice. It's information for chronic issues. If you've got any new issues, please don't use this video to try and breathe your way through it. Please seek medical advice. Now, the exercises taught here today should be considered as quite safe, because breath work is a simple practice, okay? It's really simple. We breathe every day, all day long, but it's extremely effective in creating greater health and well-being for those who practice it in this particular way. Now, taking slower, deeper, more regulated breaths can help you feel relaxed, calm, and clear-minded. And this brings the mind and the body together. Now, this complex interrelationship between our mind and our bodies, it's fascinating. I could talk about it for days, but this evening I'll just say, looking at your thoughts, feelings, beliefs and emotions, you find that these can positively or negatively affect how you function. Essentially, this means your mind can control how your body feels and how healthy you feel. And it's also important to note that what you do with your body in terms of your diet, exercise, and even your posture, and we'll be looking at posture today, that can all have an impact on your mental state, and that's either positively or negatively as well. Now, you may have heard of different nervous systems that we have in the body. The ones that we are looking at when we talk about breath work are the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is switched on when we feel stressed, when we feel anxious, when we feel worried, when we have fears, all of those types of sensations you can feel in your body. You can get hot and sweaty. You can feel your breathing is short, fast, and shallow. And what you're effectively doing is changing the chemical imbalance in the body by changing your breath. And you're now entering a state of fight, flight, or freeze. And this is going to set certain systems off in the body that are going to release cortisol, is going to release adrenaline, so that you can get away from the thing that is upsetting you. Now, this is a primal instinct inbuilt due to saber-toothed tigers from all that time ago, but modern day stresses, modern day worries are more psychological, which is why it's the thoughts, feelings, beliefs and emotions that we need to look at as well. So when we're in a state of short, fast, shallow breath, and we're in that fight, flight and freeze state, you can slow this down, and that's what we're going to look at today. And by slowing this down, you're sending that signal to your body that you're safe. And that's what we're going to be doing with our breath work today. This then starts off your parasympathetic nervous system. It kicks in, and once that kicks in, you start to reach a state of rest and digest where everything calms down. Your breathing becomes calmer, becomes more relaxed, you become clear-minded. Now, just knowing this can help you take control of emotional states and your breathing. Now, the brain fog and the fatigue I've got both today. Zoe's also mentioned she's got a bit of brain fog today. Maybe you have it too. So this brain fog and fatigue that's associated with AS can be reduced with breath work. Breath work is something that we need to work on all of the time. It's an act that you learn to bring into your daily practice. And so tonight is just the tip of the iceberg on showing you the different ways that you can breathe. So to get the most out of this workshop, if you're joining in today, I recommend that you wear non-restrictive clothing. You're sitting comfortably on a high-backed supportive chair, and you have adequate space around you so that you can place your hands on your rib cage like so. So you need some elbow space. Okay, so I'm sure you'll all agree that it's been a tough few weeks for many of us after the passing of the Queen and all the emotions that can bring up for us about loved ones that we've also lost and different things that have happened in our past. And indeed, the past few years have given us many things to deal with on top of living with a chronic pain condition. There's been so much going on, and life can feel stressful at the moment, and stories in the news may trigger unexpected emotions. And we can find that we hold tension in our bodies without even realizing it. Now, the idea is that the breathing exercises that we're going to cover in this session will go some way to helping you acknowledge your own style of breathing, and you can help to manage your emotional states as well. So as they change throughout the day, when different things are happening, you'll be able to change your breath accordingly to allow you to control those emotional states. Now, it's important that we try to sit with the best posture that we can achieve. And I know that we're all affected by AS differently. So just do what is comfortable for you today. Okay. Don't push yourself into any positions that are causing you any pain. Just do what feels right for you. Okay. There's no right or wrong way really to do this. It's a personal journey. Okay. So the main thing to do is to let your shoulders relax down into the back and have your hands resting on your lap. You can have your hands resting like so, and your thumbs can touch, or you can just have them loosely resting in your lap like so, whichever is comfortable for you. So we're going to start with a basic overview. Okay, so breathing is something that we all do, and we usually do it without even realizing it. And by the time today is over, you could have breathed in and out about 22,000 times. And every cell in your body requires oxygen to function. Okay, oxygen is responsible for creating the energy in the cells of the body. Once the oxygen is delivered to the cells in the body, the carbon dioxide is created, and you then exhale that out through the lungs. Okay. And so the basic respiratory system that for understanding breath work is the lungs, the ribs, the trachea, and this muscle called the diaphragm. Now you'll hear this word a lot when you do breath work. The diaphragm is that long muscle that's below the lungs, and when we inhale, it contracts and flattens, creating more space in the chest for air to enter the body. Okay. And then when we exhale, the diaphragm releases, moving upwards, decreasing the volume in the chest and pushing out the air through the lungs. Okay, so now, have you ever heard of something called costal breathing? Maybe not. Most of us haven't, but this is the shallow breathing that we see commonly today. So it's the costal breathing that requires the intercostal muscles to contract. Okay, the intercostal muscles are the muscles between your ribs that allow the rib cage to move and expand like so as you breathe. And during the costal breathing, the diaphragm hardly moves. This style of breathing often occurs due to poor posture, stress, and anxiety. And we may all be breathing like this without even knowing it. I know that I was for many, many years. So that's going to bring this into your awareness so that you can see how you breathe, because everybody breathes differently and everybody has a naturally different rate of breathing as well. Okay, so when we breathe normally and naturally, when there's no stress, no anxiety, our breathing rates will be: we inhale for 1 to 1.5 seconds. Then we have a short pause for 1 to 2 seconds. Then we exhale for 1.5 to 2 seconds. And then there's another short pause for 1 to 2 seconds. And all that's going on inside your body without you giving it a second's thought. It's really amazing. So as an adult, you'll breathe between 10 and 14 times per minute. Now, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to take a moment, literally a minute, to do a little experiment. I've got a timer set on my phone, and I'd like you to breathe as you normally would for that minute. And I want you to count each of your breaths. 1 inhale and 1 exhale is 1 breath. Okay, so 1 inhale and 1 exhale is 1 whole cycle of breath. And there's no right or wrong breathing rate. It's just your natural breathing rate. And I thought it would be interesting, if you feel comfortable doing so, to add your number of breaths in the comments so that we can see the variations within the group this evening. Okay, so we're going to do that now. So make yourself nice and comfortable. And I'm going to set a minute timer. Excuse me. And the minute starts now. That's it. So your minute is up. So I breathed in 14 full rounds of breath in that 1 minute. How many did you do? If you feel comfortable adding it into the comments, that'd be really interesting to see how many breaths you naturally take in a moment. Okay. So now you're aware of your breathing rate, we're going to learn some basic breathing techniques that can help you to manage feelings of stress and anxiety. They go on to improve lung function, and if you have breathlessness, it can help improve the feelings of breathlessness, and it can also improve any tightness that you feel in your rib cage. So we're going to practice two breathing techniques. One is called the belly breath, belly breathing, and the other one is rib breathing. So we're going to start with belly breathing. I'm going to talk you through it first. I'm going to do a couple of examples, and then I'm going to give you time to practice. Okay, so this is the time where you can just relax and listen, and then I'll give you time to practice in a moment. So with belly breathing, this technique can improve airflow through the lungs by moving the diaphragm. Remember that muscle I mentioned earlier, moving that diaphragm, creating more volume in the thorax. This can help with feelings of breathlessness by helping you breathe more effectively. Okay, it's important for you to be familiar with this particular technique before you find yourself in a situation where you're going to need it. So I recommend practicing this when you're not out of breath, so that you can get this technique sorted, you know how to do it, so that when you do find that you've got a flare or you're breathless due to some anxiety or stress, you've got this belly breathing technique under your belt. So it's going to focus on relaxing this upper body, and it's going to help you to feel less anxious, and it will help you to generally relax and unwind. So you can also use it at the end of the day, okay? And then we're going to look at rib breathing, and this technique can increase airflow through the lungs by expanding that rib cage, increasing the volume in the thorax and drawing more air in through the lungs. This technique can also be used to improve that movement in the rib cage, because it's gently stretching the muscles around the chest wall and the upper back. And I've mentioned this on a previous live, but also it's important to remember that pain doesn't necessarily equal damage being done. So just because something is uncomfortable when you do it doesn't mean you're causing yourself more damage. But by moving through levels of pain, you can actually ease off those muscles and the pain can subside, okay? So what's going to happen is I am going to talk you through it twice, and then I'm going to give you that time to practice it on your own, okay? So before we start, make yourself comfortable in your seated position. You can use a cushion for back support if you need to. I've got a cushion. I'll give you a moment to go grab one if you need to go grab a cushion. Okay. So we're going to start, as I say, by practicing this belly breathing, and this can be difficult for some people to master. This is a breath that babies do when they're born, and it's a breath technique that we forget quite easily as life takes over and stress and anxiety take over. So you might find that it's difficult to master this evening. Don't panic, that's absolutely fine. It's okay, don't worry if you don't manage to do it this evening. But as I said, I do recommend you practice it as often as you can. And it's a great one when the ribs are inflamed for you to be able to bypass the chest and breathe through the belly instead. Okay, so I'm going to sit upright with this support and feet flat on the floor if you can. And as much as you can, not a slumped position. So having that correct posture, as that is the right posture for you that you can get into today. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And we're just going to take a minute to settle into this position. You can close your eyes here if you want to. I'll be giving you some verbal instructions, okay, for the belly breathing. We're going to go through it together twice, okay? So we're going to sit upright. We're not slouched or slumped. We're sitting up as straight as we can. We've relaxed our shoulders away from our ears. Okay, we're going to place one hand on the breastbone and one hand on the tummy, or just above the belly button, where's comfortable for you to rest. And again, once you're in this position, try to readjust your shoulders so they're away from the ears and then nice and relaxed. And we want to try to take a moment here, close your eyes if you want to just soften any tension that you can feel across the chest and maybe across that breastbone and round into the ribs. Okay. So you're going to take a slow breath in through the nose, and your chest and shoulders stay relaxed and your upper hand does not move. Okay, and you're going to feel the rise of your belly and your lower hand. So we're going to take an inhale, and you're going to try to make your top hand stay still and push your belly out into the palm of your lower hand. And then you're going to breathe out through your mouth, feeling the lower hand and the belly falling back as the air moves out of your lungs. Okay, and then you can continue these breaths, focusing on keeping your upper hand still with your breastbone soft and your shoulders relaxed, feeling the gentle rise and fall of the lower hand with your belly. Okay, so you can take some time here. I'll run through it with you again. So you're sitting, you're nice and relaxed, feet flat on the floor, one hand on the breastbone, another on the tummy. Okay, you're going to relax the shoulders down, take a nice slow breath in through the nose, and your chest is going to stay still and your belly is going to rise. visualize that breath going down past the chest into the palm of your hands and pushing that belly out. And then breathing out through the mouth. As you breathe out through the mouth, feeling that lower hand and the belly lowering down, moving back as the air moves out of your lungs. Okay, so just continue now with these breaths, focusing on keeping this upper hand still and this lower hand rising and falling with each inhale and each exhale. Okay, and if it makes it easier for you, you can visualize that breath going in through the nose, down the back of the throat and down into the belly. That's it. If your hand is moving at the top, don't worry. Just keep practicing, moving your focus into the belly. We'll practice 3 more breaths here. If you're finding it easy, you may notice that your breathing rate is calming down. Your mind may be calming also from what's been going on in today for you. That's it. So remember to breathing in and out nice and slowly. That upper hand staying still and that lower hand on the belly gently rising and falling with each out breath. Okay. So well done. I hope you found that useful. If you managed to do that without any problems, please do put some comments in the comment box below. It'd be interesting to know how you found that. If you did struggle with that, please don't worry. That is a difficult one for people to do. So just practice it as often as you can. So now we're going to move on to practice with our rib breathing. And this is where we need our elbow space. Again, I'll talk you through it twice and then I'll allow you some time to continue at your own pace. Okay, so again, take a moment now to sit nice and relaxed in your chair, feet flat on the floor if you can, nice straight back as much as you can, shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. Just take a minute to settle into this position. And again, you can close your eyes here if you wish to. Closing our eyes allows us to really focus inwards and focus on the breath, and it can really help. Okay. So now we are going to put our hands on our lower ribs. So find those lower ribs, keeping your shoulders and upper chest relaxed. I want you to take a slow, deep breath in through the nose and then gently push out, feeling that rib cage push out and into the palms of your hands. So inhale, ribs filling the palm of the hands as much as you can. And exhale, feeling the ribs moving in. Now this might be the deepest breath you've taken today or the deepest breath you've taken in a while. So please just bear in mind that you just need to take it nice and slowly here. Okay, so feeling those ribs moving together as you exhale. And that's the movement we want to perfect this evening. We want to start taking some nice deep breaths so that we're oxygenating our blood, getting that oxygen through the body, energizing all of our cells. Okay, so again, inhale, ribs come out exhale, ribs come in. Most of us do the breathing that I mentioned earlier, that costal breathing. This is moving past costal breathing. So just now take some time at your own pace to just breathe in and out, feeling those ribs moving in and out the palms of the hands, ensuring those shoulders are away from the ears and nice and relaxed. Allowing that slow in-breath to give the air time to move into the deep portions of the lungs. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Make sure the hands are not restricting the rib movement. Don't be holding them too tightly. Just nice and soft and gentle, but so that you can feel the movements. Noticing what's going through your mind. What thoughts, feelings, emotions are coming up for you as you take this nice relaxing breath. This is my favourite breath. My ribs are not inflamed. It's great to feel. I can visualise the oxygen flowing around the body, filling me with energy. That's it. Okay, I'm just noticing the time, and so we'll leave that one there. Okay, so I hope that you found both of those breathing techniques helpful, and that you think that you would like to use those in your daily practice of breathing and breath work. I do encourage you to continue practicing those techniques at regular intervals, maybe 3 times a week if you want to, just to get those in your tool belt really to cope with your AS symptoms. Now, before we finish, I really wanted to finish on what we call an exciting breathing exercise, okay? This is called the skull shining breath. It's energizing practice, and it's said to remove mental fatigue and to purify the brain. And this is done by breathing out forcefully through both nostrils, okay? Only do this if you feel comfortable doing so. If you have any pre-existing conditions that you think this may aggravate, then please don't do this without seeking your medical professionals' advice, okay? So in this practice, we are only going to focus on the exhalation because the inhalation happens quite naturally. So we're forcefully exhaling our out breath through both nostrils. Okay, this is a fun one. So this practice is said to expel the stale air from the lungs and improve the digestion. And I'm sure you can all agree that that is what we need when we are living with AS. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate it and then you can have a go yourself. So sit comfortably like before with good posture. Bring both hands onto the belly. Exhale all the air out of your lungs and then take an easy breath in. So exhale. A nice easy breath in. And then I'm going to count 1. And when I count 1, that's when we breathe out forcefully, bringing the belly towards the spine. So breathing out through both nostrils. So when I count 1, we're going to go. And then when I count 2, we're going to allow the inhalation to happen naturally. Okay, and then we're going to practice that a few times. And then what we're going to do is what we're going to call a pump breath. We're going to pump the breath to 5 rounds. So we're going to do a count of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do that 5 times. So I'll practice it now. You can watch me do it, and then if you feel comfortable, you can have a go at the 5 pump breath afterwards. So take a nice exhale of all the air out. Inhale in. And then we're going to bringing the oxygen around. I can feel the blood flowing around doing it. Now, at the end, we take a nice easy breath in, and then we exhale. There's an option here to hold the breath for 10 to 15 seconds if you feel comfortable doing so. It just allows you to ground yourself back in the moment after that pump breath. Okay, so again, we're just going to pump, count 1 and count 2. So count 1 is breathing out forcefully, count 2 is breathing in naturally. So okay, I'll give you a moment to practice that yourself. That's it. If you start to become lightheaded, please do just stop. Remember what I said at the beginning, you can breathe in your own carbon dioxide, regulate those gases to relieve any lightheadedness. Fabulous. So you should all have finished that by now. So this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to breath work, okay guys? And if you'd like to learn more, then please do get in touch via my website or via NASS. And I hope you enjoyed this breathing exercise masterclass. Now, just to finish off, I just wanted to mention that breath work is the beginning of meditation and meditation work. And if you're interested in learning how to manage your pain and life in general with AS or any other chronic pain condition through meditation, and if you'd like to volunteer to be a part of my free research study, I've called it Relax, Release, Rewire, and it starts in January. Please do get in touch via my website to connect with me, or you can also ask through NASS. And I'd be happy to share details with you. I can send an information leaflet about it, or I'm happy to chat if you want to arrange a free Zoom call. I can give you more information. So I hope you enjoyed that tonight, guys. And that's the end of my presentation. So, hi, Zoe.
Hi, that was brilliant. Thank you.
Oh,
feeling very relaxed myself, been able to take part tonight, which has been lovely.
Oh, that's good.
We've had a few comments from people who were doing the breath counting at the beginning to look at their sort of breathing rates. So it'd be really great to hear from them how they found those exercises, and if you feel any different afterwards, that'd be great. So do pop that in the comments if you've been trying it live, and yeah, do add any questions for Lara in there as well. I've put your website, Lara, in the video comments, in the pinned comments. Anyone who wants to get in contact with Lara after the session, please do. Her website is there, so you can get in contact. And while I give people a chance just to add any questions or comments there, I'll just share, I've also put a link to our feedback survey as well, so you can give us feedback on our Facebook Live sessions, and also suggest any topics you'd like us to cover as well. So do let us know if there's anything you'd like to see on here. That's brilliant. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Lara, or anything else you wanted to share? That's a really comprehensive session tonight. Thank you.
That's okay. I think really just to have that awareness of the breath that you have in the moment. So if you're feeling that you're becoming short of breath and feeling anxious, just take a moment to take a nice deep breath and take control back of that breath. Just being aware of thoughts and feelings and emotions about what's going on in your life or around you in a certain situation, and just being conscious of your breathing, because most, as I said at the beginning, most of us breathe up to 22,000 times a day and we never give it a thought, but it is actually the gateway to controlling our pain and our thoughts and our emotional states, and so it's a really good place to start.
That's brilliant, thank you. We've had a comment from Mandy. Mandy says, thanks, Lara. The pump breathing made me giggle, but I'll keep practicing. I think that's quite therapeutic in itself, isn't it? Having a giggle. That's brilliant. That's good to hear. And yeah, it's great you'll keep practicing. It'd be great to hear from you, see if you do it regularly over a period of time, if you feel a difference with your ribs and also relaxation as well.
Yeah, if anybody wants to message me about their breathing, any questions they've got, they can put that through on the website through my email. Yeah, I'll be happy to, if anyone wants to jump on a Zoom call, I can talk you through anything to do with the breathing that came up for you this evening, definitely.
That's brilliant, thank you. We've just had a lovely comment from Anya as well saying, thank you, Lara. Your session has emphasised the importance of taking time for oneself again, so often forgotten. That's lovely.
Absolutely. And
That's
I think
brilliant.
Well, sorry, I was going to say with the breath as well, you don't have to, well, a lot of us feel like we can't carve time out for our self-care, but actually with breath, you can do it where you can do it standing in the supermarket in the queue, you can do it whilst you're sitting in traffic, you can take that time for self-care with regarding the breath at any time during the day.
Absolutely, particularly if you're getting a bit frustrated in traffic, that's probably a good thing to be adding in.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. So I'll give everyone a minute just to add any final questions or comments. And while you do that, I'll just share our next session is going to be next Wednesday, the 28th of September. And that's at 1 p.m. with physio Matt Daly, who also lives with Axial SpA. And we're going to be chatting about sports with Axial SpA. So do tune in if you're looking at getting back into sports or looking at continuing them with your AS. And yeah, we've had a different Mandy's commented saying, thank you for doing this. I'll watch it in full later as I forgot it was on. So that's perfect. It'll stay on our page afterwards. And we'll also pop it onto our YouTube page as well. So you can come back anytime and try those exercises out. And you can always try them for longer then as well.
Absolutely. With that pump breath, when you've practiced it enough and you feel confident with it, then you can always increase up to like 10 pumps. And as you increase that and you feel more confident, if we were in person and doing a breathing workshop, we would do that up to 40-50 times, but it's difficult to do that when obviously I can't see anybody and I don't know what their personal circumstances are. But yeah, you can increase that as and when you need to, and it is a fantastic breath to get you over fatigue, over procrastination. It really fires you up with the energy and the oxygen that you need.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. I'd not come across that exercise before, so it's really nice to add into my whole toolkit.
Absolutely. Anything we can add to that toolkit, isn't it, Zoe?
Absolutely. Need a whole range, definitely. Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks again, Lara. And yeah, and for anyone who's just joined in, you can catch up on the video in full after the live is finished and also on our YouTube page. And I've popped a link in the comments to our My AS My Life webpage, so you'll be able to catch Lara's previous sessions on emotional well-being as well. So thanks again, Lara, and take care and look forward to seeing you at the weekend at the Members Day.
Yeah, definitely. Have a lovely evening, everybody.
Thanks everyone for joining and for commenting. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.